Maka, doesn't it?
It's a big deal in this matchup, you know?
No, I believe
Fire Fist Striker is another important tool. Early disruption, again, the deck's a little soft in the air, so sometimes Chandra's Phoenix plays an important role, but the most important thing is getting out in front of the red-green Devotion deck and then using your removal to pin their mana.
Yeah.
That's the recipe you need to win this matchup.
Well, Pannell versus Selski. We'll see who's going to be on the play here. I think play's a big deal.
Oh, yeah.
And
real big deal.
Sitting with Pannell, as we were on our break last round, he said, at least he claims, he has not won a die roll all weekend.
I'm willing to bet that's not true.
Yeah? I'm with you.
Not only is it statistically improbable just in a general sense, but to be 8-1 with mono red and not have a die roll all
I don't
day,
buy it.
I don't buy it.
I don't buy it.
Sorry, Thomas, I'm willing to believe you're maybe 3-6 in die rolls going into this round. Maybe you're a little bit behind, but 0-9, come on, man.
No.
Don't buy it.
Now would be a good time to win that die roll, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
So we'll see if Mahara's Green Red Devotion deck, a deck that I think was played somewhat at Pro Tour Theros because it did have a good matchup against Mono Red. No one really wanted to lose to Mono Red at that tournament. That was very obvious by the decks that people chose to play. Mono Blue Devotion. Very few Esper decks in the tournament. Of course, Guillermo off on top had a fantastic weekend, but a lot of decks that actually had good matchups against Mono Red throughout that tournament because had no interest in losing to the aggressive strategy. There's a 10.
Pannell with a 10.
So I think he wins the roll. I'm not positive. I think he wins the roll and says that's the first die roll I've won.
Yeah.
Stop lying.
Come on, Thomas.
Yeah.
You're fine and all, but I can't see you.
No.
No.
I like how you draw the line.
Yeah, this is with the line in the sand.
Yeah.
I don't buy it. But anyhow, very important die roll for Pannell to win. And it's really funny you should mention that the Pro Tour has a really long history of the metagame being defined by do you believe that the aggressive, linear, obvious deck is going to show up?
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes people have overestimated for it. Sometimes people have underestimated for it. But it's a lot of the ways that the metagame gets defined.
Yeah. So you see players are going to take a look at their opening hands. There's at least one Burning Tree Emissary over there in Selski's hand. So we'll see if he's got a keeper or not. Pannell looks like he is pleased, sets his hand down. So this looks like it's going to be a mulligan. It's going to be a keeper underway. He's going to lead off with a Fire Drinker Satyr.
Improved Jackal Pup.
Yep. And it's just going to be a Stomping Ground and Patch in the turn back. And I actually think that Selski has multiple Burning Tree Emissaries in his hand, which I think is difficult for the red deck to deal with.
Yeah, it definitely gives it the deck enough breathing space to get to its 4 and 5 mana creatures. Burning Tree Emissary is a really important tool for red-green Devotion in general, and particularly in this matchup.
Now there's 2 more Fire Drinkers. Wow, so a really, really good start, a really aggressive start. But unfortunately for Pannell, there are multiple Burning Tree Emissaries coming. Here is one. There is a second one. He's just going to pass the turn back. So we'll see if Pannell has some shocks in his hand, maybe a Chandra's Phoenix and a land and just crash into the red zone. Because one thing you're going to want to do is you want to keep this deck off of its Devotion count.
Yes, and you can tell Ben right now has both a Nykthos and a Pelukrinos in his hand, so it's very important for Pannell to pick off these Burning Tree Emissaries if he can. And this is where the red-green Devotion deck can actually trap you. Ben's board is innocuous enough, but unbeknownst to Pannell, there's actually some landmines waiting, so.
Yeah. You got to get through those annoying emissaries. There's a mountain to start. We'll see what he does have as a play. It's going to be Lightning Strike. Clear one of these out of the way. Get into the red zone. I like it. You got to get one of those emissaries out of the way so you can get in there. And it looks like we are going to see a trade here and a Rubble Belt Maka.
Rubble.
Yeah. Now here's the question. Would you rather use the Rubble Belt Maka to keep your Satyr alive, or would you rather just push through the damage? So he could have dealt 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 points of damage, put Selski down to 11, and then let his Fire Drinker trade off with the emissary.
I like using the Maka there. There's a really good chance that Selski has nothing to do on his third turn, just the nature of the red-green Devotion deck.
Okay.
So that's a really good time to stick a lot of damage. And now he gets to attack, pump
and
2 Satyrs.
So he attacks for 2, 4, 6, 7, 8, puts Selski down to 6.
And now even if Selski has Pelukrinos next turn,
Still dead.
He's still dead.
Yep. So more important to keep the guy than force the damage through.
Yes,
okay.
in the spot for sure.
Selski's going to draw his card. He draws a Domri. He does have a land. It is a Nykthos, and he's going to pack it up. So Thomas Pannell is going to win game number 1. Rubble Belt Maka, timely.
Ooh. Yeah, oh yeah.
Timely.
He's been doing work on camera all day long,
Yeah.
That's for sure.
Those things are what, like $50 now?
They are 50 cents, maybe. Probably not even.
No, I don't think they're that much just yet. We'll take a look at Ben Selski's sideboard to start here. I do have it in front of me, so we will attempt to go over this. It is a little bit difficult to read, but there are a couple of Nylea's disciples, which is that's the that draws a sigh. Yeah, that's the life gain devotion guy. It also happens to be a 3/3 body, so that one is actually quite good. A couple copies of Mizium Mortars. There's a Pithing Needle lying around here. There's a couple copy of Burning Earths as well. Some Mistcutter Hydras too. So, and then a couple copies, of course, of Destructive Revelry. So the big one here, the Nylea's Disciple, only 2 copies, and then there are 3 copies of Mizium Mortars hanging out. So I think those are the only ones that are going to come in. Well, that's a clean 5 to board in, and I think a card like Garrick, Caller of the Beast, a little bit too slow in this matchup.
Yeah, I would shave out just some of the Planeswalkers, mostly Garrick. I think you can cut 1 Domery. It's a little underwhelming in this matchup too.
Yeah.
Xenagos at least is sort of self-sustaining, adding tokens to the board.
Yeah.
But Domery is, the board needs to be set up in a very specific way for that card to be powerful. On the other side, I really like 2 copies of Active Treason and a Rubble Belt Maka that Pannell has access to. I don't like Peak Eruption in this matchup. There's just not that many mountains in the the green base devotion deck rather. I don't think you can really bring in mortars because Ben's creatures are kind of spread between little guys that you can keep contained with your shocks and lightning strikes, and then big stuff that's outside of mortar's range.
Sure.
And actually, the spread's a little awkward. It doesn't have Loxodon Smiter style creatures, so I don't like mortars in this matchup very much. But I do like Active Treason very much, and the additional Rubble Belt Maka is good as well.
All right, Rubble Belt Maka. As I said, it always centers around that guy. So we'll see if the additional one does come in here for Pannell. As he is up a game, we'll be on the draw in game number 2 against Ben Selski. And again, if you guys are just joining us, Cedric Phillips, Patrick Sullivan, Star City Games Open Series here in Los Angeles. You can join us all weekend long on Twitter. I know the night is winding down as we are in round 10 of 10 here. But at SCG Live, hashtag SCGLA for your tweets. We'll be checking them all night and all weekend long. As we do have a nice price check here on Rubble Belt Maka. Currently sitting in at 15 cents, Patrick.
What a deal.
But 50 cents for the foil.
An even better deal.
Yeah. Hard to really pass that up.
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah.
It's been doing work on camera all
I've
weekend.
actually just heard they're sold out.
They just sold out.
Yeah, they just sold out.
There's been a run on them.
Yep.
Some insidious speculators
A lot
out
of
there.
speculation on the Rubble Belt Maka, yeah.
It's time to move in.
They've just been snapped all up. So one lucky winner has 3,000 of them.
Yeah.
Yep. So I think, this is, Selski obviously needs to win this game, but I think it was paramount for Pannell to, 1, win the die roll, but 2, to actually win game 1.
Oh, for sure, because what happens, if Ben's on the play that game, what happens is he goes Burning Tree, Thomas goes 2 Fire Dream Crusaders, Ben goes Nykthos, Pelucranos, game.
Yes.
So being on the play is a huge deal.
Yeah. Absolutely paramount here. And the other big thing, too, is that, if you've ever played a matchup like this where you feel like you're kind of an underdog with your aggressive deck, you do have the ability to just kind of run your opponent over, and game 3 he'll be on the play to do that if we do get to that point.
Yep.
Temple of Abandon going to start things off here for Selski, so he's going to take a look at the top card of his deck, going to scry it to the top, to the bottom. We'll find out in just a second, but both players have kept their 7. Card's going to go to the bottom, and he's going to pass it back to Thomas.
And you do get to steal games against Red Green Devotion either because they have hands that are all setup and no action, or all action and no setup. They need the right mixture of everything to do their thing.
Well, he's got action and setup right now.
That's a really good opening from Ben.
So Burning Tree Emissary into Voyaging Satyr. He's got some ramp, and he's got a 2/2 body to get in the way right now as well. As you see, Pannell has drawn his card. He's got a mountain. He's got a Burning Tree Emissary. Not sure what else he's loaded up with over there, but I did catch a glimpse, of Selski's hand. He does have one of those Nylea's Disciples in his hand.
A really good opening or response here from Pannell will be to have a Burning Tree Emissary to trigger his Founders Tree Denizen, and then a removal spell to keep the Voyager Satyr in check. You have to pin this deck on its mana. The Red Green Devotion deck has so many devastating 4-mana plays.
Yep. You see, he's taking his time on this turn. Normally, when he's ahead, he plays at a very, very quick pace, does Pannell, but when he's got something to think about, he does give it a lengthy look over before making his move.
Absolutely.
Don't have a great glimpse of his hand, but he's going to play that mountain there. Here comes Burning Tree Emissary. So there's a trigger. There's a red and green mana floating. There's Lightning Strike, going to kill the Voyaging Satyr. And now in comes this. It is a 2/1. It's the Founders Tree Denizen.
Busted.
Nope, that's not true. No. That's just not true at all.
Ben not willing to offer up the trade there and falls to 18.
How do you feel about trading there? Like, I understand that Ben does have an Nylea's Disciple in his hand. We don't know if he has the lands to actually cast that. But, I kind of like the idea of just keeping my life total very, very high. Your thoughts?
A lot of it just depends on the specifics of your hand.
Okay.
I mean, falling from 20 to 18 isn't the biggest hit, so it's possible between either blocking something more powerful down the line, the utility you get out of your various devotion effects, that it's worth hanging on to the Burning Tree Emissary for one more turn.
Okay. There's Mizian Mortars hanging out there. Don't forget about that Nylea's Disciple that we did mention a little bit earlier. It looks like he's going to use the Mizian Mortars just to say, get Burning Tree Emissary out of here. And if he's not going to block with this Burning Tree Emissary, I like getting into the red zone, but he's going to hang back.
So maybe he was willing to hang back one turn, but now feels like he might need to block this turn.
Yeah, perhaps the draw step has changed something. Then again, if Pannell just doesn't have anything to actually make that bigger, which is unlikely, then hanging back is perfectly fine. But Rakdos Cackler says that he does. Another Rakdos Cackler means that Foundry Den is going to be a 3-power creature. He's going to come into the red zone. And will Selski trade this time?
Well, if he didn't attack, he's kind of compelled to block.
Yeah, if you're not attacking, then you should be blocking. If you're not attacking or you're not blocking, then what are you doing with that thing out there?
Yep. It's like Selski's going to take the hit again.
Going to push him down to 15. He's going to untap his lance. He's going to draw a card. He does have a forest. Now the Disciple is going to come into play. Going to gain 4 life. Is also going to push him up to 19. And that 3/3 is actually going to stand tall on this board.
Yep. Very powerful sideboarding tool for Red-Green Devotion in these kind of aggressive matchups. Not as best against the base white aggro decks, but certainly against red-based aggro. Very powerful.
So Pannell's going to untap. He's going to draw his card, and we'll see what he can find on this turn. Obviously, Lightning Strike would be ideal, potentially Mizian Mortars as well, but he's got to fight his way through that 3/3 body. If he can do that, then he can get in the red zone some more, but as it stands, I guess roll about Maka.
Maka is also very solid here.
As it stands, though, it's a difficult thing to get through. 2 mana. There's a strike. I like crashing with that. Oh boy,
this is it's Maka time.
I like this because it's representing a Maka. That's why I like this the most.
Well, this is too juicy of a block for Selski not to make.
Agreed. So. And there is the Maka. So it's going to take care of the Burning Tree Emissary. Now he's going to end up taking 4 and push himself down. He's going to push Selski down to 15 before he does untap.
The little idiots just keep crashing on in.
Yeah, I mean you're really just hoping if you're Pannell that Selski doesn't have anything. If there's a Temple of Abandon. It can help him find something, and any follow-ups, he just passes the turn back.
I think he has mortars in his hand. He might have a 6th land coming.
That's true. Could be another red source. There's a Chantra's Phoenix. Here come the idiots. So trigger that Foundry's in it. It's 2, 4, 6. That's 8 damage. Going to put Selski down to 7.
So big test here for Selski. Does he have? He actually needs a 3rd red mana and mortars.
And he's going to concede the game.
Wow.
So Thomas Pannell is going to win this match 2-0 and looks to be a bad matchup over Ben Selski. Mono Red is going to be playing in the elimination rounds today.
Congratulations to Thomas Pannell, 9-1, and also very importantly, he'll be a very high seed, which means he'll be on the play for at least his quarterfinal matchup and possibly beyond that.
Yeah, I mean, we're looking at the potential for a #1 seed.